What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is CJUFCPicks. Welcome to another show. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, make sure to like the video, share the video, and comment on the video your picks for this card for UFC 303 Alex Pereira versus Procházka for the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship of the World. But first, let's do a small little recap of what happened at UFC Fight Night, Saudi Arabia, Whitaker versus Islam Aliskerov. I did absolutely horrible last week at UFC Fight Night, Saudi Arabia. One of my worst cards in recent memory. I only got 3 picks correct out of 11 fights, which is no bueno, not a good look. And I'm sorry if you guys tailed me, but I promise you that I will bounce back on this card. I promise you that. But let's recap it real quick. First fight of the night, I got it wrong. Long Xiao lost to a decision. Magomed G won his fight via decision. Got this pick wrong. Kwan Ho Kang lost by decision. Dalby lost by decision. Naimov lost by submission. Nasrat Hakparat got that pick correct. Johnny Walker got slept. He got KO'd by Volkan Ozdemir. Shar Magomedov got that pick correct. He won by knockout TKO. Kevin Gastelum, he won the fight via decision. Sergey Pavlovich, he was my lock of the card, and he did not look like a lock. He lost to Alexander Volkov by decision. And then Robert Whitaker getting the knockout over Ikram Aliskerov. Should have known better to pick Robert Whitaker, but I didn't. And now I look like a fool. And ladies and gentlemen, as you can see right there, 3 out of 11 correct. Not a good look. But now we move on to the next card. UFC Fight Night, UFC 303, Alex Pereira versus Procházka. Very good card. Can't wait to watch it. And let's get right into it, folks. Let's get right into the picks. Scheduled to be the first fight of the night in the men's bantamweight division, we got Ricky Simone versus Vinicius Oliveira. Ricky Simone, he is 20-5, minus 225 favorite, 31 years old, 5'6", with a 70-inch reach. Vinicius Oliveira, he is 20-3, plus 185 underdog, 28 years old, 5'9", 70.5-inch reach. This is going to be a good fight to start off the night for UFC 303. Ricky Simone, he's a little tank. He's a wrestling beast. He's got decent takedowns, decent submissions, and decent striking as well. Sneaky KO power. This is a huge step up in competition for Vinicius Oliveira. He's only number 157 in the world compared to Ricky Simone, top 15. He's number 14 in the world. But he's lost 2 fights in a row compared to Vinicius Oliveira, who's won 3 fights in a row. And I believe that this line is totally off. Minus 225 and Vinicius Oliveira a plus 185. I love that line for Vinicius Oliveira. He's a good fighter, good submissions, good striking, good power. And I think he can give Ricky Simone a run for his money. So he's gonna be my he's gonna be my dog of the card for UFC 303, Vinicius Oliveira to win over Ricky Simone. Not sure how he gets it done. I'm going by knockout or decision. That's my pick. And he is my dog of the card, ladies and gentlemen. Vinicius Oliveira is my pick. Move on up to the next fight on the card. Scheduled in the men's flyweight division, we have Carlos Hernandez versus Rie Teura. Carlos Hernandez, he is 9-3, 30 years old, 125 pounds, 5'8", 67-inch reach. Rie Teura, undefeated at 9-0, minus 400 favorite, 22 years old, 5'6", 68-inch reach. And the line is a little off, but I do agree that Reyes Teura is going to be the favorite in this fight, and he is going to probably win this fight. Carlos Hernandez, he's decent. Kind of gets slept on. He's won the last 3 of his 5 fights, but he lost his last fight to Teura, and he also lost to Alan Nascimento. Reyes Teura, undefeated at 9-0, which is good for him. He's a very young, hungry, and good prospect coming up in the UFC. And I believe this is his UFC debut, right? Yes. So he might have some UFC debut jitters going under the bright lights, especially on a pay-per-view card. But here's my pick. He will be my pick for this fight. Might get it done either by decision or knockout is my pick. Next fight on the card, ladies and gentlemen, is a sloppy heavyweight fight. I guarantee it is going to be sloppy as hell. Between Andre Arlovski, UFC legend, going against Martin Bdet. Andre Arlovski, look at his record, ladies and gentlemen. 34-23, plus 225 underdog. 45 years old, crazy. 6'3" with a 77-inch reach. Martin Bdet, 13-2, minus 280 favorite, 32 years old, 6'4", 77-inch reach. And I'm staying far away from this fight, and you should too. Because both of these men are not reliable, in my opinion. Both of these men are sloppy heavyweight fighters. Never going to be world champions, in my opinion. Besides Andre Arlovski, I mean, he's already been world champion in his career, but not in this point of his career. Honestly, I think he should call it quits. I think he should retire. 3 losses in a row, 23 losses on your record. Come on, what are you doing here, man? Martin Bdet, he's still young, 32 years old. He only has 2 losses in his record, but he's fought mainly cans. He lost to Shamil Gaziev. And we all know that Shamil Gaziev got fraud checked in his last fight. I'm picking Martin Bdet. He's going to be younger, quicker, more powerful. And that's why I'm picking Martin Bdet to win this fight. Not going to bet it, though. Not going to bet it. Next fight, guys, scheduled in the women's strawweight division. And it's between Michelle Waterson-Gomez versus Jillian Robertson. Michelle Waterson-Gomez, the karate hottie, 18-12, plus 165 underdog, 38 years old, 5'3", 62-inch reach. Jillian Robertson, 13-8, minus 200 favorite, 29 years old, 5'5", 63-inch reach. And I think this fight is pretty easy to call. Michelle Waterson-Gomez, 4 losses in a row. And I expect her to get her 5th loss in a row here in this fight. The Savage, Jillian Robertson, she's a beast, man. I can't count her out in this fight. She only has she only lost the last 2 out of her 5 fights, which is pretty good. She won her last fight by knockout TKO, Polyana Viana. She won by armbar against Pereira Rodriguez. And also a rear naked choke against Maria Agapova. Michelle Waterson-Gomez, her last win was almost 4 years ago against Angela Hill. And I believe if they rematch that fight, Angela Hill can win. So give me Jillian Robertson to win by submission or decision. And that's my pick. Might even bet it. Might even bet that. Depending on the line. And you guys know that I absolutely hate betting on women's fights. But Julian Robertson should win this fight pretty easily. Alright, let's move on up to the next fight, guys. Scheduled in the men's bantamweight division, we got Peyton Talbot against Yanis Gamori. Peyton Talbot undefeated at 8-0. Minus 1,600 favorite. That's crazy. 25 years old. 5'10", 70-inch reach. Yanis Gamori, 12-2, plus 800 favorite. 29 years old. 5'9", 69-inch reach. Pretty easy fight to call. I think Peyton Talbot is going to be better everywhere this fight goes. And I believe this fight is not going the distance either. I think Peyton Talbot is going to put him away in the first or second round. Yanis Gamori, he only has 2 losses in his record, but he did lose to William Gomes not too long ago by a body kick. Before that, he was winning almost every one of his fights. But this is the UFC, different competition level, and I believe Peyton Talbot is going to be on a whole different level from Yanis Gamori. I think Peyton Talbot is going to dominate this fight. He's a lock. Not bettable, though. Minus 1,600 is not bettable. So you can try to find a better line inside the distance, under 2.5. Maybe even under 1.5 could happen. But either way, Peyton Talbot wins this fight. And let's move on to the next one, which is going to be in the men's featherweight division. Very interesting fight right here. We got Charles Jourdain versus Gene Silva. Charles Jourdain, 15-7, 28 years old, 5'9", 69-inch reach. Gene Silva, 12-2, plus 110 underdog, 145 pounds. 5'7", 69-inch reach. This is a very interesting fight. Charles Jourdain is going to have way more experience under his belt. He's been in the UFC for quite a while now. He's won only the last 2 out of his 5 fights, though. And he's coming in at minus 130 favorite. I do not know why. Because Gene Silva is a beast. The dude is a problem. He's a very young, up-and-coming, good prospect for the UFC, especially in the featherweight division. Only 2 losses on his record. He won against Weston Wilson, and he also won his Contender Series fight against Kevin Vallejos. And I think he's going to win this fight against Charles Jourdain. This is a huge step up for Gene Silva, because Charles Jourdain, like I said, is going to have the UFC experience by far. He's going to have the experience in general, just fought the tougher competition, you know. But unfortunately for Charles Jourdain, Gene Silva is just going to be much more quicker in there, have more power in his hands, better on the ground, and Gene Silva should win this fight, and he is my pick. I do like Charles Jourdain, though. He's one of my favorite fighters in the UFC, and I barely fade him. You can go back on my breakdown videos if you would like, when he fights, and I always almost pick him, but I just don't see him winning this fight. Gene Silva, just more dangerous, more powerful, and probably the better fighter. Next fight, guys, scheduled to be in the men's featherweight division against 2 UFC veterans who've been in the UFC for such a long time now. We have Cub Swanson versus Andre Fili. Cub Swanson, 29-13, plus 160 underdog, 40 years old, 5'8", 70-inch reach. Andre Touchy Fili, 23-11, minus 190 underdog, or favorite, 34 years old, 5'11", 74-inch reach. I think this fight is going to be close. Cub Swanson still got it. Almost 41 years old. Won the last 3 out of his 5 fights. Not too bad. Andre Fili winning the last 2 out of his 5 fights. But both fighters are wishy-washy fighters. Both fighters are veterans in the UFC. They've both fought really tough competition, especially Cub Swanson. He's got more experience under his belt. But Andre Fili is going to have the youth advantage, the height advantage, and the reach advantage. That's 3 advantages over your fighter, over your opponent. That's my reasoning to picking Andre Fili in this fight. I think he's going to be more technical in there. He's going to have that reach advantage that's going to come into play. So is the height advantage would come into play in this fight. And I think Andre Fili is going to win by decision. Maybe even a knockout. Who knows? But Fili should win this fight. Pretty confident in that pick. Might even throw him in a parlay. Who knows? We'll see. Next fight, guys, scheduled to be in the men's middleweight division. Scheduled to be the featured prelim for UFC 303. We got Joe Bodybags Pyfer versus Marc-Andre Boreal. Joe Pyfer, 12-3, minus 265 favorite, 27 years old, 6'2", 75-inch reach. Marc-Andre Boreal, 16-7, plus 210 underdog, 34 years old, 6'1", 74-inch reach. And I think Joe Pyfer is going to learn and bounce back from his last loss. He did lose to Jack Hermanson by decision. But before that, he was absolutely destroying dudes, putting dudes to sleep. Marc-Andre Boreal, he's pretty decent himself. He's got better cardio than Joe Pyfer, in my opinion. But the power and the speed advantage definitely goes to Joe Pyfer. Marc-Andre Boreal has more UFC experience and probably has fought the tougher competition as well. But my head, my mind, my gut, my heart is telling me that Joe Bodybags Pyfer is going to bounce back from his loss and he's going to get a knockout victory against Marc-Andre Boreal, and he is my pick for this fight. Next fight, guys. To start off the main card for UFC 303, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to like the video, share the video. Make sure to comment your picks. Okay? Make sure. Because you can't talk crap if you don't post your picks. The first fight on the main card should be a banger. We have Ian Machado Gary versus Michael Venom Page. Ian Machado Gary, undefeated at 14-0, minus 120 favorite, 26 years old, 6'3", 74-inch reach. Michael Venom Page, 22-2, plus 100 underdog, 6'3", 79-inch reach. He is going to enjoy a 5-inch reach advantage. And as you can see, I did not make a pick for this fight because I'm still not 100% sure who should win this fight. This fight is going to be close, very entertaining, and I cannot wait to watch it. Ian Machado Gary probably going to have the more technical and powerful strikes. Michael Venom Page is probably going to be a little bit quicker with better cardio. Michael Venom Page, his style is, he's kind of unique, you know. He's kind of like a Stephen Thompson type of fighter. Ian Machado Gary, probably one of the better boxing skills in the UFC. Very accurate striking, sneaky KO power. This should be a fun fight, guys. Still trying to figure out who should win. My heart and my gut, though, is telling me that Ian Machado Gary is going to win this fight and continue his undefeated streak, going 15-0. I would not be surprised, though, if Michael Venom Page wins this fight. That's why I'm staying away. But just to make my pick, I'm picking Ian Machado Gary. Next fight, guys, scheduled to be in the women's bantamweight division. We have Mayra Bueno Silva versus Macy Chiasson. Mayra Bueno Silva, 10-3, minus 190 favorite, 32 years old, 5'6", 66.5-inch reach. Macy Chiasson, 9-3, plus 160 underdog, 32 years old, 5'11", 72-inch reach. Macy Chiasson gonna have a height advantage and a reach advantage in this fight. But Mayra Bueno Silva is gonna have better grappling, better submissions, and this is gonna be a very close fight, closer than the number says in my opinion. I'm not betting this fight because I hate betting women's fights unless I'm like 90% sure that women's fighter should win. But anyway, I love Mayra Bueno Silva, former title contender, still evolving, still growing. Macy Chiasson, probably one of the most underrated females in this division. Nobody really talks about her. She's got pretty good boxing, pretty technical striking. Probably going to be faster on their feet with a little bit more power, but I like Mayra Bueno Silva. I think she's going to get it done, and I think she's going to win by submission, folks. Bounce back from her last loss. Next fight, guys. This is a last-minute fight right here between Anthony Smith going against Roman Delite. Anthony Smith, he's one of the most experienced fighters on this card, if not the most experienced fighter on this card. 37-19, crazy record right there. 35 years old, 6'4", 76-inch reach. Roman Delite, 12-3, 35 years old, 6'2", 76-inch reach. My heart and my gut is telling me Roman Delite is going to win this fight because Anthony Smith, his chin is donezo. He's got pretty much no chin. And we all know that Roman Delite hits like a truck. He hits hard. And if he connects to Anthony Smith's chin 2 or 3 times, he is going night-night. But we all know that Anthony Smith could be a potential parlay buster. He's got way more experience in this fight. He's fought the tougher competition by far. I might stay away from this fight, to be honest, guys. Don't like it. But I'm going Roman Delite, the more powerful fighter. Something tells me, man, that I might look like a fool. Might be wrong. And Anthony Smith might walk away the winner. But I'm going with my heart, guys. Going with my gut. Roman Delite to win by knockout. And that's going to be my pick. Next fight, guys, is the co-main event of the evening for UFC Fight Night. UFC 303, scheduled to be the featherweight division. This is going to be a very good, very exciting fight. Very good matchmaking right here, in my opinion. We got Brian Ortega going against Diego Lopes. Brian Ortega, 16-3, 33 years old, 5'8", 69-inch reach. Diego Lopes, 24-6, 29 years old, 5'11", 72.5-inch reach. Brian Ortega, former title contender. He's fought the tougher competition by far in the UFC. Diego Lopes is going to have more experience under his belt. He's going to be younger. He's going to be quicker, more powerful, in my opinion. Both got really good submission skills. Brian Ortega, though, he's been in there with one of the probably the best UFC has to offer, man. He's been in there with Alexander Volkanovski. He's been in there with the Korean Zombie. He's been in there with a lot of good fighters, guys. Diego Lopes, though, he's on a 3-fight winning streak. Looking very good and improved in each and every single one of his fights. He just keeps getting better and better. And he's going to be my pick, guys. He's going to be my pick. Definitely going to bet him. I love Diego Lopes. He's got the potential to be a champion very soon. And if he beats Brian Ortega, then he's got a very good argument to be next in line for the featherweight championship. Give me Diego Lopes to win inside the distance by knockout, TKO, or submission. And that's my pick. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have made it to the main event of the evening for UFC 303, Pereira versus Procházka. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to like the video, share the video, comment on the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. You do not want to miss these videos. We do make money. Last week was terrible. Last week was a shit show. But we promise you to bounce back on this card. Pereira, the current reigning and defending champion. 10-2, minus 165 favorite, 36 years old, 6'4", 80-inch reach. Procházka, 30-4, 31 years old, 6'3", 80-inch reach, plus 140 underdog. This is going to be a war. This is going to be a scrap, a banger, a barn burner. Someone's going to get knocked out or submitted. I promise you, this fight is not going the distance. This is a 5-round fight. Pereira, he's been on a tear, 3-fight winning streak. Procházka, winning the last 4 out of 5 fights. He's going to have the more experience by far. Pereira, though, ever since he stepped in the UFC, he's fought a lot of tough competition. Bruno Silva, Sean Strickland, Israel Adesanya, Jamal Hill. He already fought Procházka as well. That's why he lost to him. And I think he's going to lose again in this fight. Pereira is going to knock out Procházka in under 3 rounds. I promise you, folks. Pereira is a beast. The UFC loves Pereira. He's their new cash cow. He's their new big name. Pereira is going to go on a 4-fight winning streak here. And Procházka, I do like him, man. He's a very unorthodox fighter. He's different. He's a wild man. He's got knockout power, good takedowns, good on the ground. But Pereira is just on another level, man. He's got dynamite in those hands. And I think and believe he will win this fight. And I do got a bet on him. I did throw him in a parlay with Diego Lopes. Pereira with Diego Lopes, that's my bet. That's my parlay of the week. And that was the breakdown. That was the picks for UFC 303, Pereira versus Procházka 2, going down Saturday, June 29th, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Pay-per-view card. Do not miss it. We appreciate you coming on, checking out the show. Make sure to subscribe, like the video, share the video, and this is going to be the last podcast for UFC picks before the last break. This is the break they're coming up for UFC. I think they're taking like 2 or 3 weeks off, so we'll be back for that. We hope you enjoy the 4th of July, and we're out of here, folks. Take it easy and have a good day. Peace.